I mean, it's gone on and on, hasn't it? I mean,
Unapologetically You. We are also live on TikTok. Huge welcome to everybody joining us. My name's Lisa King. It's a big show. We've got a big show. We are live on Dreamcatcher Radio. We are also streaming on TikTok. We have the incredible Linda Eastoe from Dilemma Charity joining us later on. And we are talking this show all about the importance of looking after yourself. Linda's going to be sharing her story. It's incredible. It's an incredible story. But the element that I'm going to be dealing with is really reminding you the importance of self-care and self-love and really looking after yourself. So before we do anything else, we're going to go straight off with Len Spot and step into your power. Here we go.
Step into your power, feel it rise. No more hiding, no more compromise. You're the light, you're the spark, burning bright. This is your moment, this is your life. You've been waiting, holding back too long. Doubting your fire, but you've been strong. Every scar, every lesson brought you here. And now's the time to crush the fear. Stand tall, no chains can hold you. Your heart's alive, the truth will show through. No turning back, it's your hour. This is your time to take back your power. Step into your power, don't look away. This is your rise, your brand new day. You're unstoppable, unshakable. Nothing can break your soul today. Step into your power, let the world see the strongest version of you and me. Step into your power, take your space. You're enough, you're bold, you're full of grace. Every voice that told you you can, every shadow tried to block your chance, but you got dreams, a fire, a plan. It's time to lead, time to stand. Stand tall, no chains can hold you. Your heart's alive, the truth will show through. No turning back, it's your hour. This is your time to take back your power. Step into your power, don't look away. This is your rise, your brand new day. You're unstoppable, unshakable. Nothing can break your soul today. Step into your power, let the world see the strongest version of you and me. Step into your power, take your space. You're enough, you're bold, you're full of grace. No more waiting, no more doubt. Your inner voice is screaming out. Take that step, claim your throne. The power's been yours all along. Step into your power, don't look away. This is your rise, your brand new day. You're unstoppable, unshakable. Nothing can break your soul today. Step into your power, let the world see the strongest version of you and me. Step into your power, take your space. You're enough, you're bold, you're full of grace. Step into your power, let it unfold. Your story's alive, your spirit's gold. Step into your power, shine your light. This is your moment, your birthright.
What a great tune to start with. We're live on Dreamcatcher Radio. That was Len Spot and Step Into Your Power. Now, that song was all about self-care because it's talking about recognising your own value, and instead of continually criticising yourself or seeking validation, you begin treating yourself with compassion and respect and encouragement. And it talks about once you do that, it really does create emotional safety within your nervous system, and it allows you to move from survival into genuine growth and and possibility. I need to get my words out. So we've got another 3 songs. Then we've got the incredible Linda Eastoe joining us. She is the CEO of Dilemma Charity. We're going to be talking addiction. We're going to be talking about the importance of looking after yourself if you are somebody who is looking after a family member in addiction. So it's a brilliant, brilliant story. So the next song, this is what I'm all about, this next song. And this song beautifully illustrates that self-care really is an expression of self-love. So rather than another task on a to-do list, looking after your body and protecting your emotional well-being, giving yourself time to recover and surrounding yourself with healthy influences are all ways of demonstrating that you value yourself. And when self-care comes from love instead of obligation, it really does become sustainable because it's rooted in respect rather than in guilt. And this creates a much calmer, more regulated nervous system, and it allows us to show up more fully in every area of our life. This song is called Self-Love, and it's by Souls to Sounds. Have a listen.
Self-love is one of the greatest love. If you don't love yourself right, how do you know when someone is loving you wrong? Let's go. Talking to my mirror like, girl, what do you need? You've been given every heartbeat, left yourself on empty. You keep chasing every handshake, every little bit of praise. But if you never hold your own heart, how can anybody stay? Love yourself right, love yourself honest, love yourself quiet, love yourself loud. You can give love you don't already carry. Fill up your soul till it spills on the crowd. Love yourself so much you feel when it ain't right. If I can't love me true, how could I love you right? They told you that it's selfish to put your joy in first, but pouring from an aching cup only makes it worse. This isn't pride, it's breathing. This is learning you deserve to walk away from shaky hands that never learn your worth. Love yourself right, love yourself honest, love yourself quiet, love yourself proud. You can give love you don't already carry. Fill up your soul till it spills on the crowd. Love yourself so much you feel when it ain't right. If I can't love me true, how could I love you right? I'm done begging for a half smile. I know when to walk out in a room my energy is not needed. Yeah. When I give the whole sun out, hey, I'm sure I have a lot of sun in me to shine my path. I hold my heart so gently that I know what love's about. Love yourself right, love yourself honest, love yourself daily, love yourself now. You can give love you don't already carry. Fill up your soul, let it pour out. Love yourself so much you feel when it ain't right. If I can't love me true, I can't love you right. If I can't love me true, why would you love me right?
Your music, your request. Dreamcatcher Radio.
If you have any requests, you can email me, lisa@dreamcatcherradio.co.uk, and I will do my best to get them on. We have the incredible Linda Eastoe joining us very soon, but we've got 2 more songs. Now, this next song was actually one of Linda's choices. So she had, as you know, for anyone that's being interviewed, I sort of do like 3 choices, 3 segments, 1 song for each segment. And this song was one that she was toying between. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to play this as well as. Now, this song is by Sara Bareilles and it's Brave. And one of the greatest forms of self-care is allowing yourself to be seen and heard. Because when we constantly suppress our thoughts, our emotions and our needs, it places our nervous system under continual stress, because the brain learns that being yourself is unsafe. So Brave reminds us that caring for ourselves sometimes means having uncomfortable conversations. It means asking for what we need and setting healthy boundaries, rather than continually keeping the peace for everybody else. And in doing so, we begin to honour our emotional well-being instead of sacrificing it for acceptance. This is Brave and Sarah Perez. What a song.
You can be amazing, you can turn a phrase into a weapon or a drug. You can be the outcast or be the backlash of somebody's lack of love. Or you can start speaking up. Nothing's gonna hurt you the way the words do when they settle near your skin. Kept on the inside and no sunlight, sometimes a shadow wins. But I wonder what would happen if you say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Everybody's been there, everybody's been stared down by the enemy. Falling for the fear and dancing, disappearing, bow down to the mighty. Don't run, stop holding your tongue. Maybe there's a way out of the cage where you live. Maybe one of these days you can let the light in. Show me how big and brave is. Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. And since your history of silence won't do you any good, did you think it would? Let your words be anything but empty. Why don't you tell them the truth? Say what you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. What you wanna say and let the words fall out. Honestly, I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I wanna see you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. See you be brave. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. Just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you. I just wanna see you.
What a brilliant, brilliant start to the show. Now, as you know, I do like to do a bit of a shout out to where we've got listeners around the world, so I can see where they're listening from on Dreamcatcher. What I would like to do, I know we've got somebody listening from Spain on TikTok. Can you let me know, whereabouts are you? Where are you? In the UK or around the world? I will give you a shout out. I don't need your postcode. Don't worry. I don't need your postcode. But on Dreamcatcher, we have Serbia, we have France, we have Germany, we have the UK, we have Northern Ireland, we've got Ireland, we've got a US and Canada. How cool is that? I do love giving a shout out. So where are you? Let's have a look at, let's check TikTok out. Let's see where everybody is on TikTok. I know we have somebody listening from Spain. Where are you? Salisbury, Bournemouth, Carnoustie. Oh, love that. Bedfordshire, the planet Rach. I love that, Rach. We've got, oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. We've got Surrey. Where is everyone? Glasgow, Suffolk, Scotland, South East Coast, Herefordshire, Ottawa, Canada. Welcome, 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 everyone. I love it. I love it. So what I'm going to be doing now, we've got one more song, and then we have the incredible Linda Eastoe joining us. She is going to be sharing her story, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. So we've got one more song. This comes from Lenspot, and this song highlights that one of the greatest acts of self-care is refusing to keep reliving those old emotional wounds. Healing really does begin when we stop allowing yesterday's experiences to dictate today's choices. Caring for yourself means becoming curious about your beliefs, recognizing what no longer serves you, and giving yourself permission to create healthier patterns that really do support your emotional well-being and your nervous system. This song is called Rewrite Your Story, and it's by Lenspot. Here we go. Have a listen.
This is your moment, a brand new beginning. Turn the page and breathe. You're stronger than you've ever been. You've carried storms that no one saw. You lost yourself by giving all. But every scar is proof you rose, and you deserve the life you chose. You've had days you almost quit, but look at you, you're still in it. Your heart kept beating through the pain. Now you're ready to rise again. Let go of the things that dimmed your light. You're stepping into who you are tonight. Rewrite your story. Claim your power, claim your glory. You're not who you used to be. You're finally breaking free. Rewrite your story. Turn the hurt into your victory. Every step, every breath you take is proof that you can recreate. Rewrite your story. You're learning how to trust your voice, to walk away, to make new choices. You're not defined by your mistakes. Your future's yours for you to make. And you don't need approval now. You're learning strength, you're learning how to build a life that fits your heart. And let yourself begin again. Restart. Let go of the shadows holding on. Your truth is loud, your fear is gone. Rewrite your story. Claim your power, claim your glory. You're not who you used to be. You're finally breaking free. Rewrite your story. Turn the hurt into your victory. Every step, every breath you take is proof that you can recreate. Rewrite your story. You're not broken, you're becoming. You're healing, growing, rising, running toward a life that feels like home. You're done with walking it alone. You're allowed to choose a brighter way. You're allowed to start today. Rewrite your story. Claim your power, claim your glory. You're not who you used to be. You're finally breaking free. Rewrite your story. Turn the hurt into your victory. Every step, every breath you take is proof that you can recreate. Rewrite your story. Rewrite your story.
More music, more variety. This is your favourite radio station. Dreamcatcher Radio.
We are live on Dreamcatcher Radio. I am also streaming the show on to TikTok, and we've already had people coming in going poo, poo, poo. So moderators, they're already on it. They're being blocked. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you to you guys. I'm a little bit hot and bothered today. I've been filming today. I am sat here. I know those on the radio can't see me, but those on TikTok can. I'm sat in a vest top. I have been filming the incredible video vaults today. I've created a boundaries video vault, which is part of a massive bundle that I've created, and my signature A to Z of self-love, the foundations, a brand new video vault has been created for subscribers. I am so excited. So I've been filming today and doing all of that, and I sat here and went, there's no way I'm putting my shirt back on. No way. So I'm sat here, black vest top. I am hot, hot, hot. So I said that we were going to have an incredible guest. I do want to let people know we are going to be talking about addiction on this interview. We are also going to be talking about Linda's story. Now, this woman is a very good friend of mine, and one thing I will say, and this is something I reminded Linda of. So when Linda shares her story, she shares it, she's got an incredible story. And one thing, and I do touch on it in the interview, but Linda doesn't make a big deal about the fact that she's actually is a wheelchair user. And over the last few years, her physical health has deteriorated, and she shares her story. And I really wanted to let you know this before we started, so that you can actually really understand the significance of some of the elements she says, right? And I'm not going to say any more, but I want to introduce you to not only an incredible person, she's also a very, very good friend of mine. And for those that know, I recently emceed a charity event. It was for Dilemma Charity, and it's an absolute privilege that I get to interview Linda to share her story with you. So this is the full interview. It's broken into three segments. Now, the first one is the longest, but I didn't want to, when we were talking, I really didn't want to break this off, and you'll understand why when we get started. Here we go. This is Linda Eastoe from Dilemma Charity. And a huge welcome to Linda Eastoe, one of my buddies. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm really good. And I'm so pleased we're having this interview because, one, it's time. We've been saying for ages we wanted to do this, but two, this is going to help so many people. And, and sharing, I'll get you to introduce who you are and what you do. But I want to say, firstly, before we start, I am so proud of what you've achieved, and especially after, we've done the ball this weekend and listening to stories and how you impact. And this has gone off piece, and I wasn't going to say this, but I'm really, really proud of you and just absolutely love you to bits. I just want you to know that.
Love you to bits too.
Oh.
So,
we were looking and talking before we come on air about, because your story is massive, it's such a big story, it was like, where do you start?
Yeah.
And we spoke about the fact of talking about when you hit a point where things got, really, really challenging for you, but actually there were ramifications and reasons for that. So do you want to start there? Do you want to start from the point where your health really hit a point?
Yeah, we can start there. That'd be good.
So who is Linda Eastoe before we start? CEO?
I am the CEO of Dilemma Charity, which is a charity that supports families who are trying to support a loved one in addiction.
Amazing. I love that. And Dilemma had its third charity ball, which is incredible. So Linda, let's start with where we talked about where you really were impacted health-wise
Yeah.
by your story. Go for it.
Yeah, so I remember waking up one morning and just going to pieces.
Mm.
And I'm not an overly emotional person, but I started to cry and I just could not stop. And I remember Daryl and Becky, my two children, were at home at that particular time, and there's reasons why they were at home. But yeah, I just got up and just went to pieces. So managed to get an appointment at the doctor's. Can't remember what day it was now. It might have been a Monday, because I remember sitting in the doctor's surgery and it was absolutely packed and I was just sobbing and I could not stop. Even though there was all these people, I just couldn't stop. And then the doctors were running late as usual, so I sat there. And then I messaged or I rang home and said, if I'm not the next person in, I'm coming home, because I just couldn't sit there any longer. And as luck would have it, well, Daryl was like, you're staying there. I'm just getting in the shower. I'll be there. And then as luck would have it, I was the next person in. And the doctor took one look at me and she said she'd never seen me in such a state. She says in all the times that she'd seen me, she knew there was something dreadfully wrong. Her words were, I knew there was something wrong because you always look so glamorous. But that day you came in, you were just a mess, basically. So basically I'd had a breakdown. And I was already on medication, like antidepressants. So the doctor upped those, but also put me through for talking therapies, as what we call it now, and said about having time off work. You know, you need to have time off work. And I'm like, I can't. I've got my own business. Because at the time I was running the salon with Becky. Yeah. So I couldn't really have time off. But having said that, I was probably as useful as a chocolate teapot, to be fair. But I carried on going to work. I mean, my clients said after the event, they knew something was really wrong. I'd really gone into myself. And there was virtually no conversation. I don't even know how I was functioning, to be fair. And then Becky said, I used to cry at the most, random moments. And she says for somebody, like when she was in her teens, I used to sort of, and it's what I learned from a corporate life, it's... take the emotion out of things and look at things objectively. Well, I took it probably a step way too far. So it just became my way of life. So I didn't show emotion. So like you said, as a teenager, having a mom that was always on a level and quite happy, never had ups or downs, to then see me so emotional, she says it was just such a shock. Yeah. And I remember things like we were doing performance reviews for the stylists, and she said to me to start the one review. Now, I've done that many reviews in my career, and I can remember going into this review and just looking at the stylist and thinking, I don't know what to say. And like Becky was coming in anyway, but I was just literally speechless. I didn't know what to say. And I think I probably spent the next 6 months just crying randomly. And talking therapies, they did say to me that if I didn't start letting my emotions out, I would keep going back to that place of being broken. And I couldn't allow that to happen. It was just such a scary place, and it just took so long for me to feel that I was getting better. And there was a number of factors that caused it. You know, one was Daryl's addiction. Another one, now don't laugh at this one, but they were both living with me for quite a while, and then I used to laugh and joke with them and say, I can't wait for you pair to leave home so I can have the house to myself. So one of them left, and then within a couple of months, the other one left. And I'd got my space back. Within 6 months, they both ended up back with me. And I think I'd been looking forward to having my space and my time for so long that when they both came back, and obviously there's always an open door policy at mine, but it really affected me mentally because, I hadn't got the headspace that I really needed. So that sort of happened. And then I think I was seeing somebody at the time, and he'd broken it off via text. Lovely man.
Nice.
But basically saying that it was Daryl's fault. And this person had never really, got to know Daryl. I hadn't been seeing him that long. But I also know, I look back now, and it was when I was in my codependent stage, and I used to talk about him constantly, and there was always a drama. So yeah, he was my main topic of conversation with what was going on, what dramas had been caused, what happened this week, and I get it now. But yeah, at the time, it was just like all these things just piling on top of me, and I was just like, I just broke.
Yeah. Well, that's understandable. Having had a breakdown myself, I do get what it takes to be able to start to recover from that. So you mentioned Daryl. So for those people that have no idea of your story, can you share with everybody the journey? Because once they understand that, they'll get to see why you had this breakdown and the intensity of everything. Are you happy to share?
Yeah. I'm quite happy to share. So, Daryl is a recovering addict. So he was in addiction for 25 years, and he's now been in recovery for 6 years. So, my God, what a chunk of time. His main demon was always alcohol. But he's been addicted to prescription drugs. He's tried probably every class A there is out there. And yeah, if he wasn't on one, he'd be on, one substance, he'd be on another. He'd cross addict. And then there were times when he was on the whole lot all at the same time.
Wow.
So it started when he was probably, when I became aware of it was his late teens, and it was probably mid-teens actually. But he was smoking cannabis. And I was very uneducated at the time and very judgmental, to be fair. So he started smoking cannabis about that age, and I look back now and I understand that he's always been a free spirit, but he'd got an extremely controlling mother, so it must have been so hard for him. He's never conformed. He's always, like I say, you can only describe him as a free spirit. And then he'd got a mum that conformed and was very structured in her approach to absolutely everything. So we had used to clash. And I think, I'm trying to think how old he was when I first said he needed to leave. I think he was probably about 17. And there was just an almighty bus stop with my partner at the time, Pete, and we'd been living together for ages. And him and Daryl clashed, and there was a huge bus stop. And I told Daryl to go because, I just didn't know how to handle the situation. So he went to my mum and dad's, which was just down the road. So I knew where he was.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand what he was going through. And I think it was when he was in his early 20s that we started to realise there was an alcohol problem.
The severity of it all.
Yeah, and, all his friends were big drinkers. But then you've got, like, the one friend said to me once, we all wake up the next morning going, oh, my God, never again. And they'd all hungover. Daryl used to get up, start drinking again straight away.
Right.
So he just took it to a different level. But that's always been his personality. It's all or nothing. It's always been that way. So it sort of started early 20s. I was working full time. I'd got quite a responsible job with a corporate company. And, it was hard going, trying to keep the house going, have a demanding full-time job, having Daryl with his problems. Becky, bless her, she's always been quite a home bird anyway. So she never really went out much. And she used to sit and talk, or Daryl used to sit and talk to her, because he'd come home at like 10 o'clock at night. Well, I'd be in bed because I'd got to get up for work the next day. And if he wanted to talk, I was just literally too tired. So Becky used to sit and listen to him. And I mean, she was probably only about 16 herself at the time. So they were always very close. But then gradually his addiction got worse. He used to work, and, everyone said he was really good. Whatever he did, he was very good at. But the problem was getting him there, usually on a Monday morning. And I remember not being at work for some reason, and it was a Monday morning. So took him to work as normal. I'd gone back home. Then all of a sudden, who walks through the gate but Daryl? And I'm like, what are you doing at home? You could see he was like, oh, my God, he didn't expect me to be there. And things like that. He started to lose jobs, and his mental health wasn't very good. And he got a lot of social anxiety. And it was just a really, really messy time. Then him and my next door neighbour got together. And that was, not the best of relationships, but they did get married, and they were married for about 10 years. So, and I know this is really awful to say, for 10 years, I didn't have the hassle.
Yeah.
Someone else had it.
Yeah.
But Beck and me, whenever we heard an ambulance, we'd feel sick. But we'd be like, we're fine. Our mantra was, it's fine, we're fine, it's going to be fine. That's all we always used to say to each other. I think it got worse when my dad passed away. So Daryl was about 21 then. And things did get really bad because he was so close to my dad. My dad was like his dad sort of thing. They were always together. And the drinking did get worse after that. I made him homeless a couple of times over the 25 years because there were times whether it was either me or him. And after having the breakdown, there were times when I used to say to him, you're going to have to back off because you're making me ill. And he knew exactly what I meant. And, bless him, he was in, not in a good place himself, but he would back off. and just leave me to it until I felt strong enough to be able to support him again. But I'm trying to think of some things that, specific events. One was
I remember you telling me, I remember you telling me about where you had to go and Daryl was down the side of an alley.
Yeah.
That's one I always remember when you tell me.
Yeah, that was I remember that like yesterday. So don't know what time in the morning it was, but I had a phone call from him to come and fetch him. He wasn't living with me at the time. He was living in a house, like a shared house with friends of his. And he didn't want to stay there because no one was home. So off I went, just put my dressing gown on, got in the car, off I went to find him. So when I pulled up, I was because it was on a main road, so I pulled up on the one side of the road, the opposite side of the road, and I couldn't see him. I couldn't see anything. So I got out of the car, trundled across the road, and then I could see there was like this heap in the alley between two houses. And as I got closer, I realised it was Daryl. It was November. He'd got his jeans and a T-shirt on. It was freezing cold. It was foggy. And he was completely passed out. And I'm trying to wake him and get him up. I'm on crutches because my mobility had been deteriorating. I think the first spinal op I had, Daryl was 14. So my mobility had been starting to deteriorate from that age. So he would have been in his probably early 20s at this point, like teens, early 20s. And I'm trying to get him up off the floor. Oh, my God. How I got him up off that floor, I do not know.
It amazes me every time because I've tried to lift dead weights off the floor. I've been a dead weight. I've been on crutches. I'm trying to put the whole thing together going, and I've had spinal surgery, but nowhere near like what you're dealing with. And I'm like, how
I
did
don't
you manage?
know. I honestly don't know. All I knew was if I left him there, he was going to be dead by the morning because it was so cold.
Yeah.
So
adrenaline, everything.
Yeah. And I managed to get him up across the road into the car and get him back to mine.
Wow.
But yeah, that was not a nice experience, but that's just one of many.
And you've had a lot of experiences where you've nearly lost him, haven't you? Where because of the addiction and
I mean, he was always collapsing and people were like ringing ambulances, so he was always in hospital anyway. But yeah, and it got to the point where they didn't even have to ask his name.
Oh, wow.
They'd bring him in, the ambulance would bring him in and they would all know who it was. I mean, initially I was mortified, but I do remember there was one incident. I think Beck and me had gone to the hospital and we were talking to the sister. He was in A&E and we were saying he was trying to keep him in hospital. So it was early hours of the morning. And I'd said to the sister, about keeping him there for as long as possible, which is what they were trying to do. And when she handed over to the morning staff, she explicitly said, that he was, they were trying to detox him and, to keep him there. And they let him go. So the first place he went to was, a shop where he could buy alcohol. But she was really good, and she did ring me to say that they weren't able to do a psychiatric assessment, which is what they wanted to do, and that he'd just gone. But then a few weeks later, it might have been a few months later, I can remember being at my neighbour's. There was a couple of us just having a girly night, and the phone rang, but I didn't recognise the number. Well, I think it might have come up as private number or, something like that. And I looked, and the part of me was like, just ignore it. But for some reason, I answered it, and it was the sister. at the hospital, she'd still got my number in her phone. And she said, you need to get to hospital now. And I'm like, oh, God, I'm like, oh, what's he done now? Like, and she went, I can't tell you, he's not my patient, but you need to get here now. And I'm like, but I've been drinking, so we had to get like a friend's partner to come. Off we went. So she just said, come straight to A&E, like come straight in. So I got to the desk and said who I was after. And they went, oh, yeah, resus is over there. And that was such a shock. I'm like, and it wasn't computing. I'm like, resus? Why would it be in resus? Oh, my God. Opened the door and his was the bed just to the left as I opened the door. He was homeless at the time, actually, thinking about it. He was living on the streets. Oh, my God, that's just got me.
Okay.
And I can remember just looking at him, and he looked really well. But then you've got all these machines around him. And apparently they'd had a phone call. They told me where they fetched him from. But it was a heroin overdose. And I didn't even know, he smoked heroin, but this was injected, and he didn't inject it because, he just couldn't have done that. So someone else had, and they'd called the ambulance. Literally had to cut his clothes off him, and his bag was there. He was mortified afterwards because they'd cut his favourite hoodie up to get it off him. Little things. And they said they had trouble getting a watch off him. He was really not letting this watch go. And it was the watch I'd bought him for his 30th birthday. But obviously they had to get everything off him. And then, because the next thing was to let Becky know. So we'd let Becky know, and my next door neighbour was still with me. But he looked, like I said, really well. We were expecting something to happen on that day because it was payday, and something always happened on payday, but we'd never experienced this. Of course, the neighbour had to go out and meet Becky to warn her. And I remember Becky coming in and saying, oh, Mum, he looks so well. And it was because they were pumping him full of oxygen. So he'd got a really nice colour to him, because prior to that, he was looking very grey, just looking really ill and dishevelled and whatever. And he looked really well. But I had to explain to her, like, it's because they've got him on medication, they're pumping him full of oxygen. And he was on life support for a week. And in that time, there was a mental health, like a psychiatric nurse that came to see us. She was amazing. Because we knew at that point, when all of that had happened, Daryl didn't want to be here anyway. And we explained all that to them, etc. But the nurses, they'd gone through his bag, because obviously they need to find contact numbers, but they'd found a letter in his bag off his occupational therapist that sort of said he was homeless. It was a letter for something. And the ICU nurse said, no, he's not homeless. His family's lovely. They're all sitting here. They're here all the time. And we were like, no, he is homeless. And because my worst fear was that when he came round, he wouldn't want to be here. And he came round. And the first thing he said to the nurse, because they took quite a few attempts to get him to come round. Well, when they managed to get him round, the first thing he said was, can you put me back there? And at that point, I just had to go. Because I just knew that he didn't want to be here anymore. And one of the nurses came after me. Becky stayed with him, but oh God, it was just awful. And then we had the fight that they decided that they wanted to let him out. So they'd done an assessment on him, which was to see whether he was mentally fit and capable. And I can't remember what they call it now, but it's basically they'll ask certain questions. And if they answer them in the way that they think that they should answer them, then that's fine, they can go.
So they've got capacity and they can just...
Yes. So I can remember he'd only been awake for 3 hours and they did this assessment on him.
You
Now,
are kidding.
No, and considering I had been telling them the whole week his mental health is not good, he doesn't want to be here. And I can remember being on the ICU ward arguing with this psychiatric consultant who said, no, like, he's got capacity, he's fine, you can send him home. And I'm like, no, you can't just send him home. I said, one, he hasn't got a home, he's on the streets. I said, two, his mental health before this happened was not good. And three, he's literally only been awake 3 hours and you're going to send him out. And she went, don't start arguing with me. And I was just like, I'm not arguing with you. And I pointed at a badge and I went, I've got your name. I said, if you send him out and anything happens to him in the next few weeks, I will go to the press. And at that point, she sort of backed off.
It's amazing, isn't it, what happens when people have a bit of accountability?
And then she said they said because his chest was really bad. So they decided to keep him in because he'd got pneumonia. Jeez. So why they were even thinking of sending him out, I don't know, but he'd got pneumonia. So they put him on a ward. And I just said to them, he's going to try and escape. I says he will try and get out. And they wouldn't listen. And it just happened to be a night where I didn't go up, but Becky and his ex-wife were there. And what did he do? He was on this particular ward. And it didn't matter that he'd got no clothes or shoes. All he got was his gown. And he'd managed to get to the lift. And he was literally banging his head on the lift and on the wall, and they were like, call security. So that's the nurses had already called security. And he was just, Becky says he was just sat on the floor, just banging his head against the wall by the lifts. Security came, they managed to get him back to his bed, but from then on in, for the next week, he had a mental health nurse with him 24/7. Yeah. And that particular consultant that had argued with me that he got capacity and was okay to leave, she really came up trumps because she wouldn't let him leave. It was a Friday. They were ready to discharge him. And she said, if he's not got anywhere to go, I'm happy to keep him for the weekend. And she phoned up the council and told them exactly what the situation was and that they needed to find somewhere for him for the weekend. And they were like, oh, no, just let him out and just send him to the offices. And she was like, no, you ring me back and tell me where he's got to go. Once I've got an address, then I'll let him go. Otherwise, I'm keeping him here. And that's what happened. So they did find him a place over in, I think it was in Burton at the time. And the crisis team were involved. So the crisis team was seeing him, I think, 3 times a day for that weekend. And that is the first time. And he got a brilliant psychiatric nurse at the time that he did get on well with. But that was the first time that he actually managed a period of sobriety. So he managed for about 3 months. And I never forget, they'd put him in temporary accommodation, but he was in Tamworth the one day, and I remember him ringing me at work because when he'd got to hospital, his shoes are missing and his glasses had gone. And he was going through Tamworth Town Centre because that was it. He decided when he came out of hospital that time that he was going to pick his meds up, his mental health meds up every day, because what was happening was he would pick them up, the month's worth, he'd take them in the first 2 days and then he got nothing. Yeah. So that was his decision. So he'd gone to get his mental health meds, and who should he bump into but the people that he was with on that night, who said, oh my God, we didn't think we'd ever see you again, and gave him his trainers and his glasses and tried to give him drugs.
Wow.
And he phoned me, he was so proud of himself, to say, I've got my shoes, I've got my glasses. And I walked away and said, no, I wasn't. And he was so proud of himself, and I was really proud of him. But unfortunately, that only lasted 3 months. In that time, they'd managed to get him somewhere to live. But he knew he'd got a chunk of money coming to him for white goods. Yeah. I'd gone away on holiday, came back, the money had arrived before a couple of days before I got back off holiday. And he was back at it. And all that money. Wow. Goods had gone on, yeah. So that was a traumatic one.
Yeah, we'll talk more about this in the next segment, but it really does give, and I know because obviously I know you and we've spoken, and obviously know Daryl. There's so many more instances of this.
Oh, God, yeah.
But we'll talk more about it as to then setting up Dilemma. But I just want to say thank you, because I know that was really tough. So thank you so much for sharing. We're going to come back in for the next segment. And when we come back in for the next segment, we'll hear more about Daryl's journey and how Dilemma was set up.
Okay.
Brilliant. See you in a second.
See you in a sec.
We are live on Dreamcatcher Radio. Now, you have been listening to Linda Eastoe, the CEO of Dilemma Charity. And the song that she has chosen to to really hit home with that segment is Jess Glynn, Don't Be So Hard on Yourself.
I came here with a broken heart that no one else could see. I drew a smile on my face to paper over me. The wounds heal when tears dry and cracks they don't show. So don't be so hard on yourself now. Let's go back to simplicity. I feel like I've been missing me. Was not who I'm supposed to be. I felt this darkness over me. We all get there eventually. I never knew where I belong, but I was right and you were wrong. Been telling myself all along. Don't be so hard on yourself, though. Learn to forgive, gotta let go. Everyone trips, everyone falls. So don't be so hard on yourself, though. 'Cause I'm just tired of marching on my own. Kind of afraid I feel it in my bones. Oh, now my heart's turning to stone. So don't be so hard on yourself, though. I'm standing on top of the world, right where I wanna be. So how can this dark cloud keep raining over me? But hearts break and hell's a place that everyone knows. So don't be so hard on yourself now. Let's go back to simplicity. I feel like I've been missing me. Was not who I'm supposed to be. I felt this darkness over me. We all get there eventually. I never knew where I belong, but I was right and you were wrong. Been telling myself all along. Don't be so hard on yourself, though. Learn to forgive, gotta let go. Everyone trips, everyone falls. So
More music, more variety. This is your favorite radio station. Dreamcatcher Radio.
A huge welcome to everybody listening live on the radio on Dreamcatcher, whether you're listening online or on Alexa. How are you doing? It's Thursday night. My name's Lisa King. This is Unapologetically You. And we are also live streaming on TikTok. So for anybody who's coming in, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I am just on the radio as well. So I'm streaming it. So I am delivering a live radio show. At 8 o'clock tonight, I will be off air, but I will be staying on TikTok. And I will be delivering a 1 hour session of requests. So I will then be able to chat to you. So you would have just listened to a little bit more of an extended first segment because it seemed the right time then to finish. We wanted to make sure that we got most of, what Linda spoke about. We're now going to go into the second segment and, well, do you know what? I'm not even going to tell you what she says. This is Linda, and after this, we are going to be playing a song that I've never actually heard before, and there's not many of those, so it's a really powerful song. But this first is Linda Eastoe and segment 2. Here we go. Okay, so firstly I want to say a massive thank you because that was a real big element and emotion of your story, so thank you. And now what we wanted to do was talk about sort of what led you to set up Dilemma.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say it's, I just think, wow, look back on the journey. So for Daryl's 25-year addiction, 18 of those years, I had no support because there wasn't any family support. So I did everything wrong for 18 years. I was giving him money. I was enabling him. I'd got no boundaries. I'd become completely codependent and obsessed with what he was doing. Nothing else and no one else mattered. He was just constantly on my mind. So at the 18-year mark, a lady came into the salon and she worked for the NHS, I think, in Burton. And she mentioned to Becky about this Burton Addiction Centre. We'd never heard of Burton Addiction Centre, but why would we have done, I suppose? But she said that they did a family group. And we were like, right, okay. Sort of, we found out, well, Becky found out where it was, when it was, etc. And she started going to these meetings before me, but that was because I was in hospital having major surgery. And I think things had just got that bad. Daryl had been staying with her and her husband. There was a huge incident. Police was called. It was just horrendous. And they tried to they did a very good job of keeping it away from me. And I didn't know what had been going on. And I was like, well, has Daryl not come to see me? And they were like, oh, he's got an upset stomach. He doesn't like hospitals. No, he hadn't. They weren't letting him come up because he got a bloody black eye, hadn't he? So, they kept him away. Yeah. So Becky went to this group. And then when I was well enough, I started going to the group. And, it was, I honestly thought, I walked through the doors thinking, and I knew it was okay because obviously Becky had been going and it was probably more scary for her going into it on her own than for me. So I went in, but I still thought they were going to tell me how to fix him. And that is when my recovery and my healing started, was when I found that group. But I'd been going there for a good few years before my recovery really started because I'd got 18 years of bad habits to work through, and it did take time till I really started taking on board what was being said. So I was going to that group. Well, I don't know. I think I was when Daryl went into rehab in 2020, I think I'd been going to the group about 7 years at that point. And yeah, you know, as luck would have it, Daryl went into rehab for the third time the week after we all went into lockdown. So he was in hospital when the hospitals went into lockdown. And yeah, they got him, you know, his key worker got him into rehab, which was amazing. And then I decided that I was leaving the salon. It wasn't my passion. And for some reason, I decided I wanted to be a public speaker, but I didn't know what I wanted to speak about. And then I thought, well, I've just qualified as a health coach. So I went to this speaking event in Manchester. And that's where, I first came across this academy, and then eventually went to a weekend at this academy. Well, of course, I went in, and everybody, the world and its wife, was talking about health and well-being. So I thought, well, I'm not doing that then. Like, everyone's doing it. And then I'm like, well, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to do? And it just suddenly came to me, well, what do you know? And I was like, oh, my God, like addiction, families. So that's how that sort of came out. I never went down the public speaking route, but that's where Dilemma first started, but it wasn't called Dilemma at that point. And then that was it. We'd gone into lockdown, etc., etc. And then I came across this person on Facebook called Lisa King. And she was being interviewed by Michelle Watson. And I just thought, oh. And I just listened, and I just found you absolutely fascinating.
And that's it. The rest is history.
Yeah, it is. And I think then, because I started working with you and came to yours, and I think I'd started working on putting an online program together. And this was part of the speakers bit, to be fair. But I'd started to put an online program together because obviously we couldn't do anything face-to-face. And I'd started working on it, and then I'd found you, and I'd virtually finished the program by then, and I was trying to market it as an online program. Got loads of interest from America, and then it hit me that it wasn't going to work. And the reason it wasn't going to work is because family members are quite happy to give their addicted loved one money, to pay off dealers, to do anything for their loved one, but they weren't prepared to spend the money on themselves. So that was a bit of an eye-opener. Anyway, I started working with you, and I can remember you saying, oh, you ought to set up a charity.
I remember the conversation really well.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, my God, too big, too scary. But I did download loads of information, not that I ever referred to it, really, but I did download it and sort of have a quick look. But then 2021, we started face-to-face stuff again. And a new charity had been set up in Lichfield for people that wanted to get into recovery. It was called Better Way Recovery, and everyone was talking about it because they were coming from a completely different standpoint to what we'd currently got. And they asked me, or the founder, Pete Griffiths, asked me if I would do a family support group for Better Way Recovery. So that's what I started doing. And that enabled me to use my online program for in a face-to-face. So it's called the Rediscovery Over Addiction program because it's about family members rediscovering themselves. And so, yeah, that was a bit scary because it was out of my comfort zone, but I absolutely loved it. And it made me realise how much knowledge I'd actually got and how much experience I'd got on the subject matter. So it was about 18 months after I'd started doing the Better Way recovery family groups, and Pete said to me, you need to set up a charity. But in that time, from you first mentioning it and then Pete mentioning it, it had come up another couple of times in between. And I just kept batting it away. And then when Pete said about it, and I'm like, this keeps coming up for a reason, this does. So, yeah, I just went for it. And he was amazing because supported me through the setup process because they'd recently been through it.
And that's not easy to set up a charity. It's different setting up a CIC. This is a charity. You have to jump through quite a lot of hoops, don't you?
Yeah, the rules and regulations are quite strict.
Yeah, which is good. Which is a good thing.
Oh, definitely,
Going through
definitely.
it.
Yeah, making sure you're doing everything to the letter of the law all the time.
Yeah.
Our chairman trustee, Scott, he's been coming to the dilemma groups, or to Better Way. He started coming to group 5 years ago and he still comes now. And he had said to me, funnily enough, before Pete had mentioned about setting up a charity, you need to patent this, you do. And it could be franchised. And then, of course, all of this happened. And you have to have trustees that run the charity. So I looked at the people that had been on the Better Way journey, that had worked the programme and that had got successes from it, or I could see how much they'd changed, and they could see how much they'd changed, how they approached their loved one in addiction. So I've got Scott as the chairman trustee. Lauren, she does the funding side of things. I think we had a few from up north. That didn't really work out. But anyway, we've now got a core of 6 trustees. So trialled this 12-week rolling programme. I knew how important it was to have a lot of repetition in there, because it depends where the family member is at that time they attend the group to what they're even going to retain. So I always say, there is a lot of repetition and it's done for a reason. But I've had people come to the programme every single week for 2 years and then suddenly have a light bulb moment on a particular week. And they're like, why hasn't that dropped in before? But because you weren't ready to receive it.
Absolutely. And it is that, isn't it? It is about, if you're not ready, it'll be blocked off. But the minute you're open to it, yeah.
And I think that's what happened to me the first 3 years that I was going to my family group. I wasn't ready to hear it. I wasn't ready to embrace my own recovery because the families definitely become addicted to the addict. They become addicted to the behaviours. So, we're addicted to the addict is addicted to a substance.
Yeah.
And
it's massive, isn't it? And one of the things that really hits home for me, because obviously I know you very well and we've been friends for a long time, is when you speak about enabling and when you speak about codependency, it is a bit of a smack in the face, isn't it? Because it's like, whoa, because it's never anyone's intention for that to happen. But it is that case of, because I've done it myself with somebody, and you sit back and go, oh my God, I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah.
And that's a massive part of it, isn't it?
It is. The Dilemma programme is very educational on many different levels. So it's educating them right from the beginning to understand that they did not cause it. But then you've also got the what is addiction? How does it affect the family members? How does it affect the addicts? But then to look at all the different behaviours. Excuse me, the dustbin men have just arrived. But to then start looking at all the behaviours that that we as family members fall into. without even realising it. Is that too noisy?
No, it's all right. It'll pass in a sec. It's all
Okay. Yeah, it's all right. They just go berserk when the dustbin men come. So it's we fall into behaviours as a way of coping with a situation that we never ever thought we would be in.
Yeah.
And the enabling side of it is massive, and a lot of it is done. It's from a place of fear. It's done from a place of love as well. It's like a double-edged sword.
Absolutely.
So do it because you absolutely love someone and you want them to be well, but then you also do it because you fear that if you don't do it, something really bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, so it is educating and trying to... And, people learn at different stages. So, you know, what works for one isn't going to work for another. So it's sharing experiences within the group.
One.
So, all the behaviours that we fall into as a way of coping with, with our addicted loved one, they're not helping. They're not helping the addict, but they're not helping us either.
Yeah.
So our self-care goes out of the window. And our self-care is really important. But our mindset at the time when we're in the thick of it and know better is, I can't even be thinking about myself because my loved one is so ill and so chaotic. They need me.
Yeah. Yeah. Hence where the codependency piece comes in so massively.
Yeah, and it's always interesting when we do boundaries and consequences.
Yeah.
Because humans find boundaries really challenging. Even more so when you've got someone in addiction. And consequences, it's all about that, but they might get hurt.
Yeah, there's that comes into that fear piece again.
And then the educational side of it is like how resilient they are, how resourceful they are, far more than we will ever be. And to the sort of latter end of the course, we used to do a session on Plan B. We used to call it Plan B because a lot of the time Plan A doesn't work, and that is that they'll go into rehab and they'll get well. So I did a Plan B, but it was about asking them questions like, how will you feel if your loved one relapses? So it's really tuning into you, not them. What boundaries are you going to keep in place, and what have you learned? 5 things that you've learned to keep yourself well, and just questions for them. But it was always one of those that I could tell a lot of people, and I would have been the same, to be honest, Lisa. It would have gone whoosh over my head then. And that's why I put the questions in to try and make it easier. But it still wasn't working. So this has been going for 5 years, and we have just changed the last segment. And I am so glad we did, because it's now making more sense. And it's education on relapse awareness.
Oh, wow.
And it is a long one, because usually I'll do like an A4 handout, but this one is like a couple of like double-sided A4. But it explains about what a relapse is, but it also gives ideas of what to do.
How to recognise it, what to do, what,
So that, so after 5 years, that's the only thing we've changed in the programme.
Wow.
And I'm much happier with the relapse awareness than I was the Plan B. But
and I get to hear all the amazing stories. Especially, we've just had the third dilemma charity ball, and I got to hear it was dropped on you that there was so much about people sharing, what the charity does, what you've done. And I get to listen to it, you see. It's beautiful that you're getting that recognition, because it's really important. It's really important, and it's saving lives.
It is saving lives, and we are now at the point where we have just put in a 5-year funding bid to Staffordshire County Council, because they recognise that's the families is the area that it closes the loop on all the other services that they offer. The one thing they don't is family support.
Yeah.
So yes, I should know about that in August.
Amazing.
So
Please let me know. Please let me know.
I will do.
Oh, brilliant. Well, Linda, I love talking about dilemma. I love talking about what you do. We're going to come back in the next section and we're going to talk about, so what's next? What is happening? What does the future look like for Dilemma Charity? So thank you again for sharing so openly, and 3 cheers to Dilemma.
Oh, thank you.
Amazing.
Thanks so much, Lisa.
Now, you would possibly have heard some fireworks going off. Now, I would like to say that I planned that and that I was actually celebrating Linda and Dilemma and all of that gorgeous stuff. It wasn't planned. I've no idea why they're going off. But if you do hear them again, I'm going to say that they're for Linda and for Dilemma. I'm just going to put it out there. Okay, now this next song, I've not heard this before. So we've got 10 minutes. The last segment is about 10 minutes with Linda. But before we do that, her second song, she chose a song by James Arthur, and it's called Recovery. I've never heard this. Here we go.
I don't wanna play this game no more. I don't wanna play it. I don't wanna stay around here no more. I don't wanna stay here like rain on a Monday morning, like pain that just keeps on going on. Look at all the hate they keep on showing. I don't wanna see that. Look at all the stones they keep on throwing. I don't wanna feel that, like sun that will keep on burning. And I used to be so discerning. In my recovery, I'm a soldier at war. I have broken down walls. I designed my recovery.
More music, more variety. This is your favorite radio station. Dreamcatcher Radio.
Welcome in, everybody. We're live on Dreamcatcher Radio, and my name's Lisa King. This is Unapologetically You, and it is my weekly show. Now, you would have heard I'm speaking with Linda Eastoe. Now, Linda Eastoe is a mum who had her son in active addiction for 25 years. He is doing amazingly well, let me be clear. He is 6 years now in recovery. We did, 2 weeks ago, we did the third charity ball. Oh my goodness, we raised a ridiculous amount of money. I have the pleasure for those 3 years of being the mistress of ceremonies, and yeah, it brings me joy every single time to be a part of such an incredible charity. Now, we are going to listen to the last part, but one thing I do want to say is I need to get the exact figures, but it absolutely blew my mind when Linda was talking about the ripple effect that addiction has on families. It's not just the person with the addiction that is impacted. She told me there are, in the UK alone, there's about 3 million people impacted by family members' addiction. And that's unreal. I've had experience, so I do totally get this. And it's huge, and it does have such a massive ripple effect. So it's when you see somebody who acknowledges and makes that decision to change their life, it changes everything, not just for them, but for the whole family. And I admire anybody that can turn around. I've had my own journey with drugs and with alcohol. And when somebody turns their life around and says, do you know what, enough, it doesn't just impact them, but it impacts everybody around them. So I hold my hand up and put my hand on my heart to anybody who takes that step to take the step to get the help, to get themselves out of addiction. I admire you massively. So yeah, I just want to put a big shout out. Right, we're going to listen to the last segment now. This is for the next 10 minutes. This is Linda Eastoe. She's going to be telling us what's coming next for Dilemma. Then I am going to take up the reins. We've got one more song from Andra Day for Linda, and then I will be playing some tunes relevant to tonight's topic. Here we go. Okay, so firstly I want to say a massive thank you, because that was a real big element and emotion of your story, so thank you. And now what we wanted to do was talk about sort of what led you to set up Dilemma. You'll have to
yeah,
me,
I was going to say it's
Hang on.
Yeah, I just think, wow, look back on the journey. So for Daryl,
bear with me, everybody.
Daryl's 25-year addiction,
because I can't
18 of those years, I had no support because there wasn't any family support.
1 minute. Right, now, top tip here, right? Top tip, as a radio presenter, as somebody who does these a lot, make sure that when you press the button, you're clicking on the right part, because we've already done that one. Apologies, Linda. Here we go. This is the third segment now. Get it right, Lise. Get it right. Here we go. So, Linda, when we spoke in segment 2, we were talking about putting the funding bid in for Staff County Council. So, looking ahead for Dilemma, what's next?
Who knows what's next? Yeah,
so true.
I was going to say, who'd have thought we'd be where we are now? We've run the charity on volunteers for 3 years, no safeguarding issues or anything like that. So, the commissioner's team asked if we would be interested in putting a business plan in, which is, it's more of a bid, but for us it's a business plan because it helps us remain on track and focused. So should know a bit more about that middle of August.
Right, brilliant. Have you got more sessions as well opening up?
Yes, so I was just going to say, so we've just opened up Leek. which is, I don't know which part of Staffordshire it is. I know it's about an hour and a quarter away from me. So that's opened. And by the end of the year, we are looking to be in Burton-on-Trent, but that depends on Better Way Recovery, because I know that they've got a building and it's got to be all done out, etc. So it's very dependent on that. But yeah, we're looking at Burton-on-Trent, and then I think there's another 2 on the cards for Better Way next year. So there'll be another 2 on the cards for Dilemma. Yeah, it's just expanding, I think, the volunteers. So I'm training a lady. She's been doing the Zooms on a Friday night with me. And her story is very different because her parents were in addiction.
Oh, right, okay.
So she brings a completely different angle to it. And it was really interesting talking to her last night. The one thing that she thinks needs to be changed, and I've not really thought of it in the way that she thought of it, was teachers.
Yes.
Because she said how teachers make people from, if they're in care or, their parents are, addicts or, whatever the situation, they make them feel different. So if ever anything goes wrong, it's always those children that are gone to first. Whereas straight away, I'm thinking, oh my God, the teachers should be making it more inclusive and making those children feel as if they belong, not ostracising them. And she just said from her experience, teachers just haven't got a clue and they're very judgmental. Wow. And I mean, obviously, it's not going to be all teachers.
Yeah, of course. But in her experience.
Which then made me think, oh my goodness, yeah, because I know Better Way Recovery going to the schools to talk to the kids regarding addiction. So then Dilemma could come at it from going to a teacher's
convention meeting,
and doing an educational piece there. So that's something that I'm really interested in doing. And also I would like to target the GPs more.
Oh, absolutely. Did you do, what about like young carers? Because I used to do exercise with young carers. So are the people that work with young carers, because there are so many young carers now, would it be similar, or do you think that the people that work with the young carers probably have a little bit more experience than teachers, or should have? In a little inverted commas.
I would say, they should have.
Right, okay. Yeah, just wondering, because I've seen young carers that have, addicted parents, and it's, the release they get when they come to the sessions, like, so I used to do the exercise and play games and sports and stuff like that. But you could also see when things were tough.
Yeah.
You could see the difference in these kids. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was interesting. Apparently, Bernardo's provides support up until, I think, secondary school age. But then it goes...
But not beyond, when you think that actually that's a time when their kids are going through a lot of change.
Well, it goes to CAMS.
Right.
And it's... unfortunately... I haven't had a good experience with GPs, and a lot of family members don't have good experiences with GPs. And the same as CAMS, I hear some really shocking stuff. And again, they need people. It's the lived experience side of it, because there's a certain, the right way to switch kids off is to start preaching to them, saying, well, you should be doing this, you should be feeling this. I know how you're feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, no, you don't know how that child's feeling.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I just think dilemma could grow massive legs because
Exponentially.
oh my goodness, yes.
I do remember us having a conversation, right? And whether you remember this, I know you remember the fact I was saying to you about this needs to be a charity, etc. Do you remember me saying to you, I can see where this is going. I can see it. I can already see how big this is going to be. And you were like, is it? I had the visions of the schools.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
I said this is going to go everywhere. This is needed everywhere.
It is needed. There's just not enough support out there for families. There's next to nothing for children, to be fair. Not, the lived experience side. That was why I was really keen when this lady approached me. Funnily enough, I met her on TikTok it was in a recovery group.
Amazing. Okay.
And she reached out to me because she knows, she wants to give back, and in the area that she's in, there's a big problem. And she just says, like, there's so much that could be done where she lives. So this is the start of her mission, sort of thing.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And like you said, it brings a totally different dynamic and a different angle.
Yeah.
As well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
How exciting.
I know.
How exciting.
It is exciting.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes, it is good. I'm quite laid back about it because anything could happen.
Yeah.
I've got like the things that I think need to be prioritised, but who knows? If we do start working closely with Staffordshire County Council's Commissioners team, they might want other areas looked at. But I do believe that we're probably quite parallel with what we're looking at doing anyway, what they want to achieve and what Dilemma is looking at doing. I think it sort of goes hand in hand. So fingers crossed.
I love it. I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to watch and to be able to see where Dilemma's going. Absolutely. A huge congratulations, because I'm a massive fan, but just being part of it and being able to watch is just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, and to think you were first person that was mentioned about a charity, and I was like you say, I was like, whoa, no.
And now look, 3 years down the line.
I know.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So if anybody is on from Staffordshire County Council, sort it out, please. Let's get the funding sorted. Thank you, because it's needed. So, Linda, how can people get hold of you? What's the best way for anybody who's listening on the radio or anybody on TikTok? I know it's at Dilemma Charity on TikTok, isn't it?
Yes.
How can people?
They can either go to the website, which is www.dilemmacharity.org.uk.
Awesome.
Or they can ring, the contact number's on the website anyway.
Fantastic. So, and socials, they can get you at Dilemma Charity?
Yes.
Amazing.
And the only other thing I would say is be brave and reach out. Don't suffer in silence because of someone else's illness. Because I did it because there wasn't any help for families. But I do know how hard it is to reach out for help. And a lot of people, they reach out for help in a crisis.
Yeah.
And if there isn't a group on that day, you've lost them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's about, just reach out, not just because there's a crisis. Reach out, make contact to get the support that you do need.
Yeah.
And you deserve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. I was going to say, is there anything else? And you took the words right out of my mouth, so it's amazing. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we jump off?
No, I don't think there is.
we will be back. We will be doing more on TikTok. We will be doing all of that gorgeous stuff.
Oh, yes.
Linda Risto, CEO of Dilemma, thank you very much for being you and for creating such an incredibly much needed charity. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon, and thank you very much for being part of the journey.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
See you later.
See you later. Bye.
What an incredible, incredible woman Linda Risto is. She's also a very good friend of mine, and yeah, just so, so proud. So for anybody who would like to listen again, or you may have missed some of this show is being replayed on Sunday and Monday, 4 till 6 p.m. UK time. Okay, so this show will be replayed. So if you know anybody that, you know, I won't be delivering it live on TikTok, but the replay will be on. So please do send it to anybody you think would benefit from listening. Now, the last song of Linda's that she wanted to play was Rise Up by Andra Day. Here we go. What a tune. What a tune.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, I like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we would take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains, and I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. We'll rise. I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000
Now, normally Linda Eastoe would be joining us on TikTok, but she's actually on holiday. She is on holiday, she's away, but she sends her love. You never know, she might pop in, but she is away, abroad. So I am now going to play the next few songs. Now, I'm not going to describe these songs because I want to maximise the amount of songs I can get on. So what I would say is these are all around self-care. They're all around self-empowerment, self-expression. This one is the Good Vibes Tribe, I Set Me Free.
I held the pain like a name I forgot. Built a home where the silence would rot. Told myself just be strong, just survive. But none ain't the same as a lie. The story's not me. The wound isn't mine. I'm not the shadow, I'm light by design. I set me free from chains unseen. I fought them before the me. I couldn't be, I let go. Not to forget, but to breathe, to rise, to finally see. I set me free.
Forgiveness ain't trust, it's a release. A weight I drag that stole my peace. I stopped dancing with ghosts in the dark. Lit my own flame and called it a start.
The story's not me. The wound isn't mine. I'm not the shadow. I'm light by design. I set me free from chains unseen. I fought them before the me. I couldn't be. I let go. Not to forget, but to breathe, to rise, to finally see. I set me free. I walk through the fire. I'm feeling on the other side. There's no them, only me. Remembering who I've always been. I set me free. No more weight on me. This breath, this moment, this life, I finally see. I set me free.
Welcome to anybody joining us. My name's Lisa King. This is Unapologetically You. We're live on Dreamcatcher Radio. I'm also streaming into TikTok. Huge welcome. We have got, let's have a look, we've got 10 minutes of the show left. Then I will be doing the after party on TikTok. And in the meantime, it's I Honor Me, Good Vibes Tribe.
I wake up and I check my center. I feel my feet, I feel my temper. I pause before the world can speak. I hear my voice, it sounds like me. I don't rush into old patterns. I don't shrink for outer chatter. I stand steady in my lane. I move with clarity, not strain. I don't disappear in what I feel. I stay aligned, I keep it real. I honor me in every moment. I honor me. I listen close before I give. I gonna how I wanna live. I don't explain my boundaries. I stand in right certainty. I let my no be clear and clean. I let my yes feel fully seen. I trust myself to lead the way. I choose my pace, I choose my day. I don't disappear to belong. I stay present, I stay strong. I don't trade truth for compliance. Stand rooted in my name. I choose me
What a great tune. That is the Good Vibes Tribe and I Honour Me. So just to give you a bit of an update before we play the last song is, so where are we? We're Thursday. So on Monday is the Monday morning breakfast show. I know. And I will be back live. This Monday I wasn't able to because I was taking Mum to the airport to make sure she went to go and have a much needed break. So she's back tomorrow. So I will be going on Monday on live and on TikTok. That's 8 till 10 p.m. No, not till 8 till 10 p.m. 8 till 10 a.m. on Monday morning. That's the Monday morning breakfast show. And Monday evening, live on TikTok, I will be delivering the monthly self-love Q&A. Now, also on Thursday, there is going to be, it's the monthly... Let me get this right. Yes, it's the monthly empowerment show. We've got some cracking guests on that show. That's next Thursday live. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. So let's get the next song on. We've got one more song left. And I want to remind you, firstly, can we have some massive, massive shout outs to all the moderators that keep the room safe on TikTok. I truly, truly appreciate every single one of you. I want to say a massive thank you for all of your support to everybody on Dreamcatcher Radio. It's been over a year now. It's like literally the first week after celebrating 1 year, and it's absolutely awesome. Right, we're going to play the last song. I will see you. When will I see you? When will I see you again? I will be live on Thursday. No, I won't. On Monday. On Monday. Right, here's the last song. It's Me First and Shift to Abundance. A massive thank you again to Linda Eastoe from Dilemma Charity. Here is the last song of the night. For those on TikTok, I will be staying on to play requests. Here it is, Me First by Shift to Abundance.
I live for me, that's the call. I follow my own inner road. If I look outside, I breathe in slow. I come back home and I just know. I live for me, not for praise. I choose my path, I choose my pace. If doubt appears, I let it pass. I don't hold on, I don't look back. When the silence speaks, I feel it clear. The answers come, it's always here. No hand. If something's true, I let it stand. Soft in my heart, strong when I stand. Some call